Hi Loretta, thank you very much for taking the time out to speak with us today. You've just gotten off a panel. How was your experience?
Oh, thank you. First of all, thank you for having me. Oh, the panel was really, really good. There was lots of people in the audience that seemed very interested in regulations, which doesn't normally happen to me. The panel was great because there was a lot of different perspectives, people from different places, coming at the ecosystem from different angles.
Awesome. And so you just tweeted, right before going on that panel, I just saw that you tweeted that of all the keynotes that you've been a part of, you're most excited to be a part of Beyond Block Summit Seoul. Why is that?
Oh, because I've always wanted to come to Korea. Korea's got one of the biggest, it's one of the biggest jurisdictions for crypto and blockchain, and I've never been, and the turnout is amazing, and they're just the most amazing amount of speakers and attendees that I know. So I was really excited because the whole ecosystem's here.
Yeah, I mean, we were really excited about Korea as well, to be very honest. So it's always good to hear the same thing from somebody else. And I also saw online in a few places where you mentioned that you believe in the mantra, live and let live. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
I actually have that in Hindi on my arm.
Oh, very cool.
So I think we're all part of this world together. We've all got to understand that we all look at life differently, whether you're in Asia, whether you're in the Western world, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Africa, and we're all part of the bigger plan. Let's all work together, regardless of our creed, colour, to make this world through technology a better place.
Yeah, that one stood out to me because I kind of believe in that as well. So
Jio Orjanedo in Hindi. Jio Orjanedo is the translation in Hindi.
Awesome. And so you've been, let's pivot into blockchain a little bit more. So you've been in the finance space for a very long time, and you've achieved a lot of things, but when was the first time you really got involved in the blockchain space?
Okay, so yes, I'm a dinosaur. I was a derivatives trader for 30 years. So actually it was in 2012, and one of my best friends is the regulator in Australia at the time, a man called Greg Metcalf, who ran ASIC. And he was also the chair of IOSCO, and he and I were having a coffee. And he came up to me and was like, Loretta, you have to look at this thing called blockchain. We have daughters the same age. I went away for the weekend and I spent it on Minecraft. And I was thinking, oh good God, Greg, I hope Minecraft's not going to change the world. So when I went back to on Monday, he told me it was blockchain. I looked at it from where I'd been in the world, not through Bitcoin. And I went away and I was doing some advisory work for a small Sydney stock exchange. So we helped build a clearing and settlement system for equities markets that took T+3, clearing and settlement from T plus 3 days to T plus 10 minutes. So that was how I got into blockchain, not through Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. It was actually using the technology to solve one of the biggest problems I had in my career.
Okay, what was that problem again?
Clearing and settlement. Any equity markets takes 3 days to clear in any exchange around the world. If you trade water, it takes 30 days. So we have all these lag times and settlement risk times in different asset classes. I think I've traded every asset class in the world. And it's one of the biggest problems we have in financial markets is the lag and the risk that comes with the lag that's associated with clearing and settling markets.
So you have a lot of history in working in Australia, and I'm sure you've been traveling a lot in Asia and working with Asian companies. How do you compare the blockchain ecosystem in Australia to Asia?
So yes, I'm Australian. I'm very proud of it. I don't live in Australia. I actually lived in India for almost a decade. So I'm very used to dealing with Asia and the emerging markets of Asia. Australia for me, setting up blockchain regulation and cryptocurrency regulation was easy because it's a mature market. I had one regulator that's very open to innovation, and I have one government that is quite innovative. But changing laws in a country like Australia is very, very difficult. So working in Asia, some of the emerging markets, even in Bermuda, countries that don't have huge legacy systems, it's now very easy with innovation and technology to leapfrog and implement laws that are much, much faster than some of the more established economies of the world. So I've worked in both. I think harmonisation across all of us will come, but I think the emerging markets in Asia have the hugest opportunity to win out of this technology.
Thank you for your insights into that. So, if I were to ask you for your opinion, what is, in your opinion, the sector that will be most affected by blockchain? If you had to pick one.
Me, it's FinTech, financial technology. It's taking out the role, relevance and revenue of things that we've seen in financial markets. So for me, I'm a banker, but if we can disintermediate the way that we make payments, the way we interact with each other, to me that is the biggest place. Probably then land titles, because I think if we can start to use the blockchain technology to give people right over their land, which is one of the hardest assets to liquidate. It's one of the first assets that gets taken off mankind when governments change or there's been social and economic and political issues. So if we can liquidate assets and give people right over their land so they never ever lose it, I think we really will change the world.
Thank you. And my last question, in 10 years, we will remember this era in blockchain for what?
For me, it's the fourth pillar of the Industrial Revolution. I think we will all look back and go, the internet created a share of data. It moves data. I think Bitcoin was the first application, and it solved the security of the internet. So I think over the next 10 years, you'll see the Ethereum, the Bitcoin, all the protocols come together and make this the most secure databases that we've ever seen in history.
Thank you very much for your time and your really awesome answers.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.